What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 24 and we're starting to do some stuff on the back of our draw with Leeds at the City Ground, where as you can see 2 games to go now. And before our penultimate game home to Manchester United, Spurs in 5th at home to the Blades, West Ham and Arsenal directly below us, tough ties away at the Etihad and St James's Park. We'd simulate through those games, desperate to see Newcastle do us a massive favour at home to the Gunners, and they lost. Yeah, typical, isn't it, man? Like, so typical when you desperately need a team to do you a favour. They never seem to do it, do they? Newcastle with a loss at home by 1-0. Spurs beat Sheffield United to lock up 5th place. But to be fair, the one team that did do us a favour was Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. They beat West Ham, meaning that the lowest we could finish was 7th. Now, obviously, in the Premier League, as we know, 5th is a guaranteed Europa League group stage qualification. 6th will pretty much always get you the Europa League as well. And 7th now is Europa Conference League. Of course, that depends on cup winners, cup finalists, and also European winners as well. But it does appear as though 7th will give you Europa Conference League this year, because the FA Cup final was between Liverpool and Manchester United. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup, and as for the Europa Conference League, Arsenal were in the final of that, but they were now ahead of us in the table. So it seemed as though 7th was going to guarantee Europa Conference League. So heading into the penultimate game of the season, our final game of the City Ground this year at home to Manchester United, desperate to lock up a Champions League group stage place, and unfortunately for me, well, no wins in our last 3 straight draws, and you know, we have not won at the City Ground since January. Yep, we have not won at this very ground since January. We've really struggled in our home form this year. It's been a tough 2024 in Nottingham for Forest, and we were 2-0 down directly after the break. We would respond. I changed formation after we went 2-0 down, and we got a goal directly afterwards, chalked off for offside, though Tony smacked the crossbar, and I mean smacked it. Surprised the goal was still standing. And didn't Lingard look onside it? Like, didn't Lingard look onside? Now, obviously, I'm going to trust the game, but I wondered why, for that moment there, the angle of the camera was not straight. It was at an angle. It was diagonal, and you know, obviously I'm always going to trust the game, but I tell you what, VAR, maybe it was a fingernail from Jesse Lingard being offside. It didn't matter in the end. We were 2-0 down. I didn't play very well, and I wouldn't have deserved anything from the game anyway. And the Red Devils got their 3rd in stoppage time as well. So yeah, Manchester United comes to City Ground, brushes aside 3-0, and that would all but do it. We had to win that game there to have any chance really of leapfrogging Arsenal, because on the final day, as you see, a game to go, Chelsea, if they would win at home to Norwich, they would be champions. The top 4 was set, but Spurs are locked up 5th, and the only way we could leapfrog Arsenal is if Spurs beat them away at the Emirates in a North London derby, and we would beat West Ham away as well, as Brighton needed to win on the final day at home to Man City to stay up and leapfrog Burnley. So yeah, we had to win on the final day away against West Ham with no wins in 4, and Spurs had to beat Arsenal. So really, I knew the likelihood was incredibly slim of us jumping into 6th on the final day. Now, I know for sure that 6th would give us European football, but with EA, you just never know. So 7th is the lowest we could finish. We couldn't be leapfrogged on the final day. 7th is the lowest we could finish, but whilst it should technically give us Europa Conference League, you just never know with EA. So heading into the final day, I thought, well, I'm going to do my absolute best here. I'm going to do my absolute best. No wins in our last 4, but all of our wins in 2024 have come away from the City Ground. Our away form's been better than our home form this season, flipped from last year. So going to David Moyes' side, knowing that a win could still give us a chance at 6th place, well, we did take the lead early. 17 minutes in, Brennan Johnson's 11th of the season, makes it 1-0, and we do take the lead. But again, I knew even a win in this game might not be enough. Arsenal avoid defeat to Spurs. They guarantee 6th place, with Spurs already locking up 5th. Right for the break, good save by Henderson, kept up by a goal, and as I check the scores at the break, well, as you can see, what did I say a moment ago there? When you need a team to do you a favour, very rarely happens, does it? Very rarely happens. Yeah, Arsenal 2-0 up at home to Spurs, and I knew at that point there it was over. It was game over. There was no way we were going to jump up to 6th on the final day. And had it not been for Henderson in this game, man, we would have lost this one, no doubt about it. Maxwell cornered, denied from close range. We still led by a goal, courtesy of Dean. And then, well, how about this right here? Oh! Our final goal of the season in what ended up being a 2-0 win. Wow, that is perhaps the best header I've ever seen. But unfortunately for Aguirre, it was at the wrong end. Yeah, Brown's cross was, oh my God, headed into the back of his own net from Aguirre with a diving header from a close range, looping over Alphonse Areola and clipping the far post. Rodri couldn't claim that as a second assist for the season. He ends on 14 for the year after setting up Brennan Johnson in the first half. But he's so creative, he can cause own goals. That was incredible. While Spurs did grab a goal back in the second half, I needed them to score 3 times, not just once. And in the end, the Gunners held on for a win. And that meant our win counted for nothing. Yep, final score at West Ham 2-0. We do close out the season, stopping the rot after no wins in 4 and claiming a win. But it comes in vain. Chelsea, champions of the Premier League, their first title under Graham Potter. Both Manchester clubs and Liverpool wrap at the top 4. Spurs had already locked up 5th heading to the final day anyway, as the Gunners do hold on to 6th after their win on matchday 38th, and we finish in 7th. 54 goals for the season, lowest scorers in the top 7, yes, but the defence was the most impressive thing. We had the 3rd best defensive record in the division this year. That is a stark contrast to last year, where we were the joint worst defensive team, as Brighton did do it in the end on the final day, beat Man City 2-1. Burnley lost home to Leeds, for those curious, as they leapfrogged the Clarets and company's side were relegated. Rafa Mir won the Golden Boot this year. Erling Haaland once again with what you consider a subpar season for him. He's got to get his stats increased in FIFA, man, seriously. It's crazy to think, even as good as he is, he's considered underrated by EA. But Rodri did win the assist title with 14 for the year. And as for Henderson, 20 clean sheets in 38 games. For 21 mil, bringing him back permanently from Manchester United, absolute steal for Dean Henderson. The Carabao Cup was won by Liverpool, as I alluded to earlier, and they also won the FA Cup, so a domestic cup double for Liverpool, who says FIFA's not realistic. They beat Everton and Manchester United in the finals, respectively. The Gunners did indeed win the Europa Conference League, which we should be going into next season, as Real Madrid won an El Clasico Europa League final there. And as for the Champions League, how interesting was this? Ajax, the Cinderella story, beat Manchester City in a penalty shootout in the Champions League final. So, yep, our job was complete for Season 2. I said this season I wanted to finish in the top 10. We're definitely good enough to do that, and we did. 7th place, and unfortunately I have to say I'm sitting here thinking it should have been higher. I can't believe I'm saying that, man, but 7th place and it should have been higher. I really blew it in the second half of the season. We did not win back-to-back in the entire second half of the season in the Premier League. Consistency was our main problem this year. We were far too inconsistent, and I talked about it. If you want to be in the top 4, you've got to be consistent. And quite frankly, that was our Achilles heel this year. Yeah, we won quite a lot of games this year. You know, we finished in 7th place, but we very rarely won back-to-back. We had that incredible 6-game winning run at the start of the season, at the very start of the season, but unfortunately, since then, we've really struggled to string wins together consecutively. So, even so, 7th place finish in the end, and as you see the stats here, Rodri Brown, 4 goals and 14 assists, grew really nicely. I'm so angry they had a potential decrease, but hopefully it'll get reinstated for next year. My player of the season, though, by the way, for those curious, this guy right here, Marco Senesi, in from Bournemouth, tank. Absolute tank. 17 clean sheets in 32 games, and he got an assist as well. He was my best defender this year. Absolutely no doubt about it, man. He and Niakate were a great partnership, I felt, in our back line. For when I switched to the 4 at the back, it was he and Niakate together that I had the most success with as a CB duo. Senesi was my player of the season this year. Massive reason why we are one of the best defensive records in the division, and we got Henderson the Golden Glove this year as well. But as I run you through the team, I'm already sitting here thinking about next season and where we need to improve on for the upcoming year. I think for me personally, I wasn't enamoured with Gibbs White this year. He was alright, but nothing special. Lingard now 31 and going down. I'm thinking, depending on what formation we use next year, because we varied our system up, our tactical system, all throughout the year. We switched from the 5-3-2 to sometimes a 4-2-3-1, sometimes a 4-1-3-2. We changed it up quite a lot. I think perhaps a new playmaker next year, and perhaps yet another new striker as well. Even so, Forest, 7th place finish of the season. Europe is where we should be. But I guess with EA, you never know. But will we be going to the Europa Conference League? For the first time ever on my channel, Europa Conference League. I'd love to see it. We'll find out in the very next episode. Thanks for watching the season finale, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for a brand new season. Season 3 at the City Ground, where Forest should be in the Europa Conference League. Touch wood. Fingers crossed that's the case. And I'll see you for it very soon.